Hey, Dito, do you know what time it is?
AT, it's that time where we take one of these because this is going to be a bumpy ride.
Power up! All right, in this episode of the Kita Anime Podcast, Tamaki thinks she's a cat. Meow. Mao has indestructible boxers. I want a pair of those. And Armin finally grows a pair. All that and more coming up. Let's do this. The show begins in 3, 2, 1. It's time for the Ktdata Anime Podcast with Dito and Ktdata. The Ktdata Anime Podcast is brought to you by Explosions. We love them so much in Utah, we actually have 2 4th of Julys. Hey everybody, welcome to the Ktdata Anime Podcast. I am Ktdata.
And I'm Dito.
And this is the book club podcast for all you guys who've never seen this show before. The whole idea is you come, you watch 2 episodes of 3 different anime series, and you listen to what Dito and I say about it, and probably say, man, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. So, Dito, how are you doing today?
Aside from recovering from a pretty bad summer flu, pretty good. Aside from the fact that KT is growing a mustache on his neck.
I thought mustaches were cool.
Well, mustaches are cool, but, mustaches are so mainstream, you gotta grow it on your neck.
I have some glandular issues where facial hair doesn't grow on my face; it grows on my neck. What can I say?
It's called being Asian.
Get off my lawn. So if you guys are going, oh man, there's homework with this podcast. Don't worry, we make homework pretty easy. If you just head on over to ktdata.net, look at the show notes. Bam, there you go. Links to everything. You can just click on them and stream them and go, ooh.
And sometimes,
No, all oohs, no ahs.
Well, too bad. There's gonna be Oz too. We can't leave the Oz out.
I thought we got rid of all the asunas.
No, that's gonna be coming in however long it takes for it to finally get here.
All right, that seems like the second half of the anime series right there. So let's just jump into this first anime we have right here with the crappiest theme ever. And our first anime is Ginga Kikotai Majestic Prince, and it's brought to you by Condensed Milk, now available in brown sugar and honey flavors. Get your condensed milk from your assistant today. Alright, last episode we uncover a deep, deep, dark secret. A love triangle is born, and also we add some boy love into the triangle. Can't believe you made me say that, Dito.
Well, that make it a hexagon then.
I don't know. I didn't do well in geometry. Anything beyond like a triangle was a little more difficult for me. Actually, anything beyond a circle was a little beyond me. That's why I have so much trouble with like all these like slice of life animes. It's like, oh man, this is way too confusing. You know, it makes so much more sense like in Evangelion, where you just want to kill Shinji.
And yet he watches Tenchi. So he can deal with the harems, he just can't deal with slice of life.
You know what I gotta do with Tenchi though? I gotta there's whiteboards involved with like lines, and I even like print out pictures of the characters and have a cork board there with yarn going from each character over there, so I can like make sense of things when I'm watching. It's like almost a mobile command center when I'm watching all these harem animes. It's like, oh yeah, then if I just follow this over here, that makes perfect sense.
So in other words, KT watches harem anime like he would like a murder scene.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. You get all these you have folders upon folders of a character profile. So when I get confused, I'm like, pull that. Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And then going over here, and then she has this blue line that just follows you over there.
But you can't confuse that with the other blue yarn that is supposed to be for something about cat ship.
What? I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So like, I have all this important data and stuff, and that kind of, that's kind of the goal of in these episodes of Majestic Princes. They're trying to get information off that crash landed ship in Mars from the Zentrani. That's how they're going to build SDF-1. Is from that information they get from that ship there. Because it kind of falls apart in the episode, or they build it around it.
They're gonna learn how to combine finally, because this is still. I'm still waiting for that. I am still waiting for their.
It's gonna happen. Just the way they like de-dock from the main ship and they fly in that formation. It's gonna happen.
Yep,
it's gonna be natural.
It's gonna be very natural, like any robot anime.
Of course. But they're under a deadline because, of course, why not add some tension by putting an artificial deadline on it?
Yeah, well, it's not just an artificial deadline. They kind of said roughly 36 hours.
You got 36 hours, but she's only giving them 24.
Not even that. They give him 12 because it's like you have to get out there, prep, all that fun stuff. So we got to make it as just like here's 1 minute, perform God.
Yeah. And then what's even more interesting on this is Tamaki in this episode, she's actually doing better than everybody else because she thinks she's a cat. Meow.
So it's only because of their so-called mental stimulations
exploitation, man. Dude, and I love how the control ops, they don't hesitate whatsoever to flirt with her.
Yeah, which is hilarious because she's just the biggest.
Isn't she 16? 15?
They all seem pretty young. Even the control ops seem to be pretty young too. They're probably.
They seem older.
Oh, they seem older, but
with the dude with his flowing blonde hair,
his flowing locks. But he probably seems more 20-ish. Early 20s. While she's probably 16 or something like that. That's weird.
It doesn't break the rule. What is the rule? Half your age plus 7, or something like that. Well, actually, it does if she's 16 now.
I was about to say, yeah, it does.
Because 10 plus 7 is 17, so I don't know.
That's okay. We could just say she's 17.
I don't know. Sparky's just, she's like, oh, he's so blonde. He's so control oppy. Oh.
Control oppy. Well, so now we know what to do. Now we have to get to KT.
I gotta get
glowing wig of locks of doom.
Yeah, and then I gotta get a Bluetooth headset that goes right under my eye, and all that good stuff right there.
Yeah, because that makes perfect sense.
Sparky's like, I didn't even watch this. I don't understand what you were talking about.
Perfect.
Lies. Sparky is a closet Majestic Prince watcher. That's why she denies it.
It's because of the BL.
It's all about the BL. Oh, so and it kind of goes into, I'm gonna do the thing that I think everybody hated me doing, is bringing analogs from real life into anime. I bet you people hate it when I do this, but it brings up this ethical question on how we view soldiers' lives. Is it just another number in a calculated risk, or is every human life valuable? And that kind of shows the distinguishing difference between the Zentrani, or the Wugaru, if you want to call them that, and humans, where every single human life is worth something, except to the commanders with their big noses.
Yes, and also their indecisive acts of trying to save themselves a few bucks.
Yeah, it's so weird. So, that's. I think it's kind of weird though, this anime, especially with this next point right here. I swear it's kind of going in cycles right here, where you have an epic battle, and then you have a strategic mission on there, and then you go back, and then they're doing PR again. I mean, literally, this next episode, the entire time, Kei and Tamaki, they're just going around to places, showing their faces and talking to the people and stuff. And it's haven't we gone past this,
Which brings up a really funny point too that I noticed. Every time they do a PR or something, that they're rewarded with a treat like an animal. Like, quite literally, she acts like a cat and everything. It's like going, oh, after you do this, here's your, was it
Pickled
pork or
innards.
pickled innards on rice and everything, and then Kay gets that curdled
Uh,
milk or the
condensed milk
condensed milk, curdled milk.
with in all its brand new flavors of what was the flavors? Brown sugar and honey. Oh my,
Yeah,
that like. Have you ever had like straight condensed milk, not in anything else?
I've yeah,
Yeah, it's already sweet.
oh.
Imagine putting honey or brown sugar into that. Like, I'd be like, can't breathe.
You see all those teeth right here just fall right out.
Yeah. Then would be this is the Kita Gum podcast.
We're gonna
They don't got any taste anymore. Excuse me if I drool.
we'd be quite literally gumming our mics right now.
Some say that might improve the show, so who knows? On
Send
there.
all emails to ktdata.net.
Yeah. And so, we kind of see what happens to all the characters in their off time. Like we've seen we've seen an episode like this before, seeing what the characters do in their off time, Ataru, he's just sitting in a spacesuit. I hope what
Don't know why either. He just kind of like, has his giant telescope there and he's just sitting there going like with a there goes this mic. With the countdown timer, and I'm just sitting there going like, okay. And they keep on going back to him like every 5 minutes or something like that, and his timer just goes down like half hour.
And
just
then
like,
what I'm really curious is he's in the suit for probably a good 6 hours or so.
yeah.
And I'm wondering how good the suit filtration thing is. Like, imagine you being in a spacesuit and then you just gotta let one off.
Well, he had a cable attached to him, so probably not only did it filter the air.
That doesn't filter air; it just blows more air into it. It's not two-way, man. It's just think about it.
Well, it would have to be two-way because you got to get rid of all the carbon dioxide from the suit too.
That's what the filtration system for. But the filtration system doesn't take out smells.
I can only imagine him just eating something really bad, and then letting one out. Just watch him just sit there like this, and it was like.
I was like, oh man, I regret having those beans for breakfast.
They never actually show what he eats.
Yeah, like and imagine it. You're in space, so nobody else can hear you, right? So you're just sitting there waiting, looking at the stars, waiting for something to come, and it's just like this silence, and then all of a sudden,
can you just imagine? Because like eventually gets like followers to sit.
Yeah, well, that's his pit crew, and you notice they don't come until almost the last second.
Yeah, but can you imagine though? It's like if you just sitting there like this, all of them just standing there like this, and all of a sudden one just goes like this, like going.
What?
No, but here's another part too. Since we talked about pit crews, like we see everyone going like doing their own things. We have Izuru still just doing his drawings. Ataru going stargazing, and then we have Asagi doing his little date thing with part of his pit crew too.
She's like 8 at
or
most.
something, and you're watching all the pit crews doing their damnedest to make sure that these machines are running. And it's like do they even get any time off?
I know. I don't think they do. I mean, we know what's her faces does because she's dragging Asagi off, but nobody else seems to be relying. Well, actually, Kay's team seems to be just watching the television.
That's true. It's like I did kind of wonder, like, what are they doing? Because Kay's doesn't really require much maintenance because she's just kind of sitting there like saying, "All right, analyze this, analyze that. Oh, give me some information." Okay.
So I think it was the thing I hate about the show is that nothing's really happened again. You get all this good intel and then a whole entire episode of nothing really I mean, okay, maybe you get a little bit of character development and stuff, and you can kind of see all the characters kind of almost adopting the pit crews' family and stuff. Okay, yeah, I could see it. But then you watch the preview for the next episode, and it's a clip episode!
Well, there was one thing though. We did see the only thing about the entire episode that we can actually say was really, really interesting was the manual car.
Yeah, but like seriously, I finished watching this and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll take a look at the previews, get an idea what's happening, and then it's like special episode that's going to recap the first half of Majestic Prince, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Seriously?
Yes, we told you this is like any stereotypical mecha anime, and yes, we don't have our funny hats on, but KT is now grown mustache on neck.
Like in at least in other mecha animes, things happened. In this anime, nothing's really happened other than them getting their butt kicked, which actually reminds me a lot of Attack on Titan.
But before that,
and there's like, I'm like, I'm a little disappointed, but I don't know. But here we go. Our next anime over here didn't disappoint at all. And our next anime is Hataraku Maou-sama, or The Devil is a Part-Timer, and it's brought to you by
Indestructable Boxers. Easier than using the game uniform damage that you have to pay for it. In our last episode, we had Mao and Emmy. Construction, I want to say like enemies, which should probably be the best thing. McRonald's or Kentucky, what would you choose? And Japan, they know how to scare the crap out of heroes. Boo!
What?
I gotta say this much too about this episode. Hawaiian Bazaar.
I love how the landlady just decides to go on this like 6-month vacation in Hawaii and just leaves the two boys in charge of the whole entire building, and they've barely lived there for maybe a month or so.
Which is I find more funny is that we actually learn a little bit more about the situation, what going behind the scenes about Susanoo. Like she's actually inquisitor for the church and pretty much an executioner, if you will. And we get a little more information about that she is actually trying to kill Mao. Believe that or not.
Oh, who isn't trying to kill the Demon King in this story? Seriously. Oh. And then they all fall in love with him. That's just...
I think Chi-chan is the only one that hasn't tried to kill him. Well, besides with love.
Still a form of murder.
True.
On there, but you kind of see what we actually find out, which we didn't know before, and I thought it was weird because you think that Emmy is really fighting for the church and their inquisition that they had, but it turns out that the church had their own inquisition going on against the Demon King, and all the other humans kind of had their own resistance going on at the same time. I guess they didn't really help each other that much, and they're kind of doing their own thing on there, and so they're kind of angry that Emmy was the one who defeated Mao, because that's all the guts and glories for that, even though they tried to kind of claim their own street cred for that, right?
Well, there's that too, and also that because of the Inquisitors and their some lack of ability to do stuff properly, and then Emmy taking credit for it, but she's also missing too. They don't want to fully admit to a lot of these mistakes, so they kind of pin the blame where it is happen to be convenient.
It's the classic, state of, oh, I'm just gonna abuse my power since everybody will believe me, right?
Of course, I mean, we're top-ranking church officials, and everyone has faith in us, so let's just play it to our benefit.
Yep, it actually reminds me of Mao Mao Yusha.
Exactly.
Where they're like on there, and we get a new character introduced into this anime. Well, we actually get a name, so we can't call him Jesse from Team Rocket anymore.
Yeah, it's
He
true.
he ends up being a archangel Serial, and after meeting him, Jesse from
But
Team Rocket is so much cooler
yeah, and he's been given kind of a nickname, like perverted angel.
because he likes the yeah, James, not Jesse. James. I'm sorry, Sparky. I'm gonna be in the
we can
dog.
we can
I'm gonna
we
be
can
in the.
call it.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
we
be.
can call it Rule 63, Jesse.
I'm gonna be in the doghouse with Sparky now. After that, but
Wait, why is she there?
I don't know. It's anime physics. Um,
Don't question anime logic.
don't question any of that. So he ends up using Emmy and Chiho as
Bait,
bait to get the
basically.
Demon King, who has barely any power. Keep in mind, because there's no Harry Potter movie that came out recently. Um, for that, but it's kind of interesting because, of course, Aisha is useless because he gets sick again. Like, seriously, he is the second in command for the demon forces, and I swear he spent half this anime sick.
Well, at least they give more of a reason behind it too, because of Suzuno's cooking, which happens to be just, I would say, pulsating,
Enchanted.
enchanted, pulsating spiritual energy. And apparently, Asuna is very susceptible to that and got really, really sick. So
Did you say
essentially,
Asuna?
I did say Asuna. Holy crap.
Somebody's been thinking of Sword Art Online.
I can't help it. We just paid for that. Ashia. Anyways, so because of that, he
Yeah,
kind of
see,
had that whole like, I just ate whole milk and I'm lactose intolerant.
yeah, like Sparky's like, yeah, he's been on the can. I feel sorry for the toilet actually.
I feel sorry for that whole room.
And I'm like, seriously, how often do you have to get sick? And the funny thing is, like, everybody knows that Suzono's is she's the Inquisitor, and they're like, yeah, we've known for a while, your cooking kind of gives it away and you just randomly helping three guys that you barely know.
I know, for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
But because of this too, Mao tries to rescue Emmy and Chiho, but it doesn't stop there. We have to say adieu to probably one of the best characters of Mao Yusha. KT.
Oh, hold on. Let me start playing taps, and then you can read the eulogy for this. Boo, boo, boo. Boo, boo, boo. No,
No,
no.
it's not going to work. But yes, we do say adieu to Durlahan.
Poor guy. He's been
precious bike of the Demon Lord.
like, let's see what's happened to him so far. He's been stolen once. He's been shot at. He's been crushed.
He's been borrowed.
He's been borrowed.
And now he's been slammed with a giant hammer.
I mean, life's tough for a bike these days.
Yeah, and now that means you have to get a new one. You have to pay for a new one, and then pay for the registration. It's just so much work. And the Demon Lord just doesn't have that time anymore.
I ain't got time for that.
He ain't got time for that.
And yeah, and not only that. So Mal actually has some destruction issues because dual hands damaged, and then he has to be careful because his uniform could get ripped or damaged outside of work, and that would mean he'd have to pay for it. So what's the most logical thing to do, right?
Strip.
Mm-hmm. And then I think that's Sparky probably freeze framed it too right after his tank top got burnt off.
No, I think it's more like later on when he kind of does his little pose.
She probably has multiple screenshots of all this, right?
Let's just put a GIF up.
Yes, the whole entire thing right there. And then so it's the funny thing is that apparently Serial's powers come from the moon. What is he, a vampire or a werewolf? Seriously. Um,
Makes you wonder, but this at this point, you have to think of a little bit of what would be more, what would gain more power, bringing the moon closer to Earth, or letting the panic of the moon being close to Earth overwhelm the demon lord to gain his power back. But before that,
what's the funny thing though? When I saw that moon scene, I'm just like, despicable me.
even on that tangent, haven't you about that?
I love Despicable Me, man. I want minions. That's
I-
that's that's definitely what I want is minions.
You have minions. You have an office of minions.
Well, they don't go round going, and they're not yellow, and they don't go banana, banana, potato.
Racist. Racist.
Or they don't go around going beeto, 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 beeto.
That would get annoying really quick. Anyways.
So they have their nice epic battle, and the one thing that I loved is because I didn't understand this when yellow ones. I don't want the purple ones. I don't.
No, you don't want any one-eye, one-armed flying purple people leaders?
What I didn't understand was why Mao took a broom out of the closet from McDonald's, and then like apparently he turned it into a
Sword of destruction.
sword of destruction, and I didn't see him come back with it. So is he gonna have to pay for that broom he took out of the closet?
I don't know. I'm actually kind of more wondering on the
Because
fact
if
that
they're that strict about the uniform, what about the broom?
I'm not really too concerned. I'm more laughing the fact or trying to figure out the fact alone that after Mao brought divine punishment to Serial, what are they going to do with him now?
I know, because he doesn't kill him, because you see him upended into the top of the building.
Yeah, he just gives him one hell of a goose egg like he did with Lucifer the few.
Oh yeah, and then Orbo shows up
back.
again. I forgot about that. And you know what I realized? Orbo looks a lot like the commander in Attack on Titan.
Pixis.
Yeah, like they look very similar, but
He doesn't have like those like dragon scales under his eyes.
What we might have to do is do a side by side comparison because like I was looking like, whoa, they kind of do look like each other. Why is Pixis so much cooler than Orbo?
Because he's drunk all the time. Instead of shooting up on spiritual shots, he's actually shooting up on like
Scotch
scotch or something that they stole from the king or whatever the hell he is.
He got it fair and square. But speaking of Commander Pixis, let's go on to our next anime right here. And our final anime of the night is Attack on Titan or Shingeki no Kyojin. And it's brought to you by a stab into the shoulder. That will wake you up after you knock yourself out with your hands. All right, in our last episode, Eren gets drugged by his dad, Armin becomes useful, and Operation Boulder Throw begins. Ooh.
When I first put that in, that like the only thing that came to mind was over the shoulder boulder thrower.
You think I could say that? I can't even say seashells by the seashore.
Over the shoulder boulder thrower.
This English thing's too hard for me. All right, so when we last left off Attack on Titan, they were planning on making Eren go all supersized, kind of like Ant-Man, and carry a boulder and block off the opening that the Colossal Titan had created. And then now they're working out the details, the details out of this, because we didn't have the details there.
The only thing I can really say about this part of this episode particularly is that, we have the elites, the best of the best, so to speak, to chauffeur Eren over to the Titans. But before that, too, they have to lure the Titans away. So they kind of like set up base in one of the corners, But while they're running over there, you can just tell that the elites hate this plan. They think it's complete nonsense.
Waste of the resources right there.
Yeah, so to make Aaron feel guilty and everything, they're just saying like naming up all these people, just telling him all the facts that he already probably knows is like, these people are dying for you, so don't make their deaths in vain. And just they're going like, I just want to slap them, just like, can you be any more pompous?
And then and then the cool lady was like the main antagonist against this, where I'm like, oh man, you know the one I'm talking about, right? The platinum haired lady who's like all crazy, but then she turns into a giant top and cuts down a Titan.
Yeah,
She's cool.
She's weirdish. It's like she follows. She's a typical soldier. She has her opinions and everything, but she follows orders.
And remember, how do you salute again? Like this? Yeah, salute. So they go with this plan right there, and then well, I thought it would be a bigger problem where Aaron wouldn't know how to transform. That seemed to be the easy issue, and then here, Dito, this is your Caps moment in the notes.
Yes, I have 2 points on this. One is like, why the hell would you go swinging and then transform instead of transform on the ground? You want to bail yourself into a building just for no apparent reason. And then second off, what in the hell is Aaron's problem of just turning on Misaka all of a sudden? It's just like going, wait, what?
It's what this anime does,
I know.
It brings you up to this high point right here where you're like, oh, we're finally going to get progress on something. And then it's like, nope, we're back to square one right here. I love it and hate it at the same time.
You just want to go like Jackie Chan WTF.
Like, on there. So now what happens though is, turns out our elite Mikasa manages to avoid Aaron's strike, and she attaches to his head. And right now, Aaron's just not knowing what he's doing. He's just, trying to be smash, Hulk smash, destroy everything, human, yum, 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 yum. And so what's the bright thing you do, Dito, if something's on your forehead?
You strike at it.
Yeah. So he knocks himself out, which is awesome. Titan smash self. Oh,
yeah. So at this point, he knocks himself out, and despite everyone's opinions and saying this, is a failed mission and everything, Ian, the main commander who's put in charge of this whole operation, just says, no, we're not abandoning him. Matter of fact, we are going to defend him until he wakes up. So, why not just put faith in their only real hope? Because, it's proven that he can turn to a Titan, but can he actually come out of that state of Titan into I am an actual person?
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. And this is I actually like this episode because Aaron finally grows a bit. Not Aaron, Armin. Man, their names are actually really similar if you think about it. Armin finally grows a pair because he's supposed to be part of the decoy squad, but then he sees the red smoke and thinking they're in trouble, so he just books it and takes off. And then he does something crazy like stabs his blade sword into Aaron's Titan
neck, arm,
yeah, and
thing.
I was like, oh, and like it looks pretty bad where he got him. Like even though it's in the shoulder, I'm like any farther down, he probably could have like severed Aaron's arm.
Oh yeah, it was like right here.
I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Like if I was stuck in a Titan controlling it, I don't know if I would appreciate it if Dito stuck a blade sword that far into my arm.
I still would.
I know you would, but the funny thing is you'd be upside down because I could see you like not using the 3D maneuver gear right, and you're like, oh shit.
I'd just be like, stab, break it off.
On there, so that I think that's finally Armin's. He's actually seeing his use. You know, he's the funny thing is he actually has enough courage to go to the commander. It's like, well, you know, this plan is going to work if we do it like this. And everybody's like, all right, that makes sense. You're a cadet. That makes sense. Box cutters.
Box cutters. That's every single time I see their blade swords. It's just I just think of box cutters too. But it's you're seeing another side of Armin here. He's
I actually have a box cutter that kind of does that too, where you can snap off the piece and have a sharp edge. Still good.
I still have one somewhere here, but you're seeing Armin actually take a little bit more charge initiative, and it's proven himself because he's more of the strategist anyways. So it's good to see.
Yeah, it's fun because we're on this is what sucks though, because we're literally on episode 12 now, and our characters are finally getting into their roles. We wasted like a good 4 episodes of just them. The tiger kicked my butt. That's all you need to know about me. The guy gonna kick my butt. And then we finally start seeing. Then, of course, in traditional Attack on Titan, we make some progress with these characters, and of course, nothing really happens. If story-wise, nothing really has progressed from the beginning of episode 11 to the ending of episode 12, except some people are dead.
Yeah, which is funny too. I just want to make this point because I just think it's hilarious that first they say don't engage, just run away. You would assume that it wouldn't be so hard just to lure Titans to a corner. You would assume that's not so hard, but apparently they can't do that until Gene's maneuvering gear malfunctions, of course. But that's a whole different story. But I like they're luring and everything, and they still got like a lot of people hurt, killed. I just kind of go, was it really that difficult?
Well, they gotta go and round up every individual one, I guess.
But you would assume that just by making lots of noises and everything, something
and going, look at us, meat.
Yeah, it's like a bit more, obvious. We're just like, hey, look, here's stuff here. They'll dangle themselves off the wall like they're doing everything. Maybe you'll have a couple abnormals in there, like, well, hurt them or whatever. Jump up to a wall and
we didn't even see any abnormals. That's the thing.
I know.
This is what I think is going to be sad because those abnormals are just going to be like overused plot devices. They're not going to show up until they need it. And they're like, well, the normal Titan's not going to do something like this. Oh, look, let's just put an abnormal in there. And, that's what's going to happen, right? These things are not going to make sense.
I laugh more at the fact alone that the so-called abnormal one that I saw had a overly huge head. Because that's the thing about Titans. They don't have an actual character basis. They're just kind of like, here's a big naked fleshy thing, and then they just have they put some random generic anime head on it.
Naked fleshy thing.
Naked fleshy things.
Oh man. So hopefully in these next 2 episodes they're finally going to get back to moving said rock to blocking door, or we're just going to have another flashback episode and I'm going to be a little annoyed.
Yeah. But as we're saying in the chat room too, that Armin was, just, I would like to say he's kind of the Shinji of this thing right now, where he's just kind of whining, not much of doesn't have a lot of self-esteem and everything, but
oh no, Tito.
It's, might actually do something.
Yes, he actually might do something, and I don't want to. See, the difference between Armin and Shinji, I don't want to kill Armin.
I know, so everyone hates Shinji?
Yeah, like everyone hates Shinji. The opposite of everybody loves Raymond. Everyone hates Shinji. On there. All right, so that's actually all we have for this episode of the Keep Anime Podcast. Dito, seriously, where does this time ever go?
Apparently into, as Rev says, big, naked, fleshy things with a head on it.
So if you guys agree or don't agree with us, we'd love to hear your feedback.
Oh, look who just popped in.
Yeah. we got some talking to do, Magnus. Send us some feedback at ktdata.net. We really would love to hear what you guys got to say, saying, man, you guys are stupid. The whole point of this episode is this. We just want to have a fun conversation with each other. So it's okay to disagree with us. Or you can leave it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ktdatanet. You should pay attention soon because we're going to give some stuff away since we broke 100 likes. Yay! On there. Or you can send us Twitter at KTData or on Google Plus at the Kita Anime Podcast right there. And you guys have heard us all night talking to the chat room kind of back and forth. You guys should come watch live. Our next episode is August 13th, 2013. And you can see that at ktdata.net/live on there. And of course, in general, check out KTDataNet. Dito's got a whole bunch of crap coming in. I always have stuff that I should get done, but I don't. And all that good stuff. Dito, you got anything else to pimp?
Yeah, just let you guys know to watch out for the pictures I'm going to be putting up of Kirito and Asuna Figmas. Once I get Asuna in, I will be doing more of my outdoorsy, photogenic stuff of randomness. And potentially I might even do the Real Action Hero Black Rock Shooter White Edition.
We're nerds. We don't go outside. All right. Dito.
What am I?
Dito, thank you for being on the show. It's always fun. And you guys in the chat room, appreciate all you guys stopping by. And you guys who listen after the fact or watch after the fact, you guys are awesome too. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Mustache neck.
Watch the mustache neck dance.